Hey, everybody. Welcome to the latest installment of MSP Business School. With you today, the steady rock that actually shows up every week.
No kidding. Yeah.
I'm Brian Doyle, your host here. And with me, I have last week's absentee, Tim McNeil.
Yeah.
And you might notice today, now we
Um,
don't have Rob. I guess the two of them are fighting, and we're going to make
yeah,
sure
we're
that they're only one at a time going forward.
yep, trying to split the duties. Too busy. Can only do one at a time.
Yeah, that's it, So this week we get to make fun of Rob a little bit as we're here, and
Yeah.
we'll make sure that we cover his topic of culture and what are you going to do here as
Yeah.
well. But we do miss him. It's I don't like when we don't have the three of us on here.
I know it seems weird. It seems weird. It was just a crazy turn of events over the last couple of days. To say nothing bad, actually, all good stuff.
Just, hey, business gets in the way sometimes, right? That's the reality.
Yeah.
But that said, nobody's here really to hear us talk. They get enough of that every week. Today our special guest with us is Ali Imran, and he's with Boundless Digital. And Boundless Digital's put together an interesting product. It's basically, and correct me where I'm wrong here, Ali, cloud controllers for the Meraki platform, and it really gives you the ability to really administer your entire fleet of Merakis you might have as an MSP out in the field from one single pane of glass. So we're really excited to have you here, Ali. Thanks for joining us.
Really, thanks for having me, Brian and Tim. Really appreciate the opportunity, and I've been following you for a while, so just happy to be on here, first of all. And yeah, you honestly killed it with the description, and I would just mention that Meraki is really good, and we essentially try to make it better and fit that for the MSP. So our goal is really to help just MSPs become more efficient, become more profitable in the way that they function with Meraki.
And we really want to thank Ali for coming on today because he's over in Paris.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly an early hour here. It's not too bad out there, but he's doing this off hours. So we really appreciate you joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Why don't you kick us off, Ali, and tell us a little bit about your background and how you ultimately got to digital?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a background in computer science through school and had a little bit of experience with digital transformation as well. Helped out at my own parents' company doing a lot of digital transformation work over there. Eventually got to Paris and had the pleasure of meeting my boss, Noel Edouard. And since then, just really hit it off with him and found this opportunity to start working at Boundless, start working in the MSP space. Obviously had some familiarity with networking, but this is when I really got into the core of the MSP business. And yeah, it's just been a great journey since. The team is great. And yeah, I feel like when you like your boss, it's just a pleasure working every single day.
Yeah. Makes all the difference in the world for sure. So what made you take us through your history a little bit? Like what is it that you're doing now that makes you guys different? I'm kind of curious to see how it all works.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Ned, the CEO, basically was the regional manager in France for Cisco Meraki. So he was very well familiarized with the product shortcomings, etc. And that's why he was in, I guess, a prime position to be able to start his own company. Just had a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit about him. Yeah. And so he went about started this project. Initially was focused a little bit on location analytics, which is something that's offered with the Meraki APIs. So because he had this area of expertise, he wanted to expand around it. So first went into location analytics, which is unfortunately didn't have the potential and it didn't live up to it. So transitioned into captive portals, which is essentially splash pages, guest Wi-Fi accesses, authentication, all that. And through developing relationships at Meraki, doing a lot of customer development, we started discovering more and more problems that MSPs and general Meraki enterprises were having. And we just gradually grew more and more into it and started moving towards automation, helping them out, solving their problems, and got here where we now have full-blown automation products where this is our primary goal now.
Very cool.
And I think that's something that we're seeing becoming a little bit more normal out there is really people taking this approach like Boundless is and trying to add that layer that tends to be missing from the manufacturers, because oftentimes they're thinking about that 1 point product going into that 1 point area, not thinking about the fact that there are times where even IT departments are managing large fleets of these across there. So it's really interesting that you guys are putting that layer to it as well.
Exactly. Yes. So Cisco Meraki is built for the general public, right? But in the world of networking, there can be a lot of specific use cases. And they're aware of this. And what they've done, a strategy they've adopted, is really opened up their APIs and really spend a lot of time working on that. And I feel a lot of the other vendors are conscious of this and now are implementing the same strategy. It's just the Meraki's APIs are way ahead, which allows them to have this whole ecosystem of partners. And we are just one of many partners that are solving problems around Meraki in this space. So the specific problem we solve is helping MSPs automate and be more profitable. But there's tons of different ways that this can go. And one such problem that we're solving right now is implementing role-based access controls for Meraki. So Meraki inherently does not offer granular access controls, which is a feature that other vendors generally seem to offer. They just don't have it. So we're building that out for them. So essentially, we want to align ourselves with Meraki, position ourselves as a partner and a value adder, and not undermine them in any way, obviously, because what they have is a great platform. And they've said, we want to make this simplified. That's what their whole, I guess, my mantra is, right? Keep it simple. And so the way to bring in that complexity is through the APIs and through interacting through software. So that's really where we come in.
Yeah, and the mantra of keep it simple is really shocking when they're part of Cisco, because Cisco was never known for keeping anything simple for the first 20 years I was doing it. Yeah. That's for certain. Yeah, but it's interesting to see as these manufacturers do start building out the ecosystem and APIs do get opened up a little bit more, so how it really creates some creative ideas and creative ways to utilize data and utilize services to help both with automation and analysis. And it's just a wild time now out in the software space when it comes to that. So, Ali, you're talking to a couple of sales guys here. Tell us a little bit about how Boundless goes to market and how you approach, getting your name out there in the MSP community and attracting some attention to the organization.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm a bit of a sales guy myself. I work a lot on product, but we're a small company. So obviously you have your hands in different areas. So don't worry, I'm with you guys. Basically, our main goal is to become as visible as we can within the Cisco ecosystem, because that's really the job of a lot of the account managers, channel managers at Cisco, to help their clients work as well as possible and just make their clients love Meraki and solve all and any problems that they have in regards to this. So we help them kind of do their job better in a sense. So that's one way that we really try to let everyone in Cisco know about what it is that we're doing and connect with them as much as possible, develop those relationships. But then there's a lot of just straight prospecting involved as well, finding enterprises that we know have huge Meraki deployments, finding partners across the globe that we know are very focused on Cisco Meraki, and just trying to connect with them. I personally use LinkedIn a lot, and it's definitely been a very resourceful platform, and it's definitely, in my opinion, the best way to establish yourself personally as well as an expert. So yeah, that's how we go about it. Generally, thankfully, we get a very good response from anyone we reach out to in terms of enterprises and MSPs, because this is a very relevant problem. And they definitely feel that pain being alleviated off their shoulders when they see our platform. And so I basically run them through the entire sales process if I can, all the way through customer success, which leads to a lot of product development. So because we're still a startup, we try to stay agile. And a lot of it is not just here's our platform, take it as it comes. More of it is here's our platform. It solves most of your problems, but you might have some specific needs as well. So we want to work you with that, really flesh out those issues and see how we can help everyone who's in our ecosystem. Because if you're having this problem, chances are somebody else is having it as well. Yep. So that's really the way we go about it. It's just classic lean startup methodology,
Yeah, interesting. So
you said it. Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, so I was just going to ask a follow-up question about LinkedIn. When did you all kind of figure out internally that LinkedIn was your go-to? I mean, I'm assuming you're not just over in Europe, you're probably all over the world. How is that? How have you been able to use that to your advantage? And when was that kind of the shift, or was it always the shift?
So once I came in, that it had been tried and tested, fortunately. Yep.
Yeah.
But I think the idea is that these are public professional profiles, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to get in touch with anybody who you don't know from a professional standpoint, it's really the only channel other than obviously doing some, let's think, like cold calling
Yeah.
or cold emailing, right? But I feel like this allows for a much more genuine connection rather than a cold email does, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, unfortunately, LinkedIn's just putting some restraints around how much we can use it and how much we can get out there and connect each week. But that's a story for another day,
Yeah. Well, hey, you can still do it. You just got to pay.
Yeah, well, I pay and I don't seem to be able to do it as much as I would like to.
Yeah,
but that's another story.
Yeah,
we won't take Ali's time with that, right? Anyhow,
I don't mind.
But I think today in sales, there's no doubt you got to be creative in your approach to getting out to people. Actually, that was that's interesting when you say, really, when you think about it, if you can partner with the Cisco sales reps, give them some awareness so they know to go spread and to kind of evangelize. They can certainly be an invaluable, sales stream as well for you. And then obviously, it certainly becomes easy if you've got access to kind of Meraki's partner network and know who those folks are, to at least know where to make your calls and make your contacts very targeted on people that utilize the product. So
absolutely, we found a lot of success in this strategy because I feel like people don't like it when you're trying to just straight up sell things to them on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But when I'm reaching out to people at Cisco, it's a lot of developing a relationship, and it's a lot of just letting them know about our product, and particularly people on the engineering side. So sales engineers, consulting systems engineers, these people are very aware of these problems. They know that their customers have been having them.
Yeah.
And so we're really just there to help them, and they appreciate that rather than just being sold to.
Awesome.
So just kind of along the same themes, but there's a ton of conferences out there, and I know we were talking a little bit before just about different things that we're talking about ASCII specifically. Like what kind of events, or what kind of things are you doing to just get your name out there besides LinkedIn?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So certainly podcasts like these, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I'm actually speaking next Wednesday or next Tuesday at an event from Cisco, which is Cisco Provider Elevates. So that is a huge event that they're having for MSPs. I'm sure you guys have heard about that.
Oh, no doubt. It's all over LinkedIn right now, promoting it big time.
Yeah.
They've been marketing and promoting that really hard, which is necessary because it's the first time they're having it as well. So I'm speaking at a panel on that, and the panel is called Why Automation is the Key to Success. So we've got some really great people on that panel, some head of automation from Enable, and the CEO of an MSP, Liberty Technology. And we've got a CEO of automation for MSP email marketing as well. So we're really covering the entire scope of things here. And we're really at a general level trying to have a high level discussion about how MSPs need to implement automation. Because my research tells me that there's been this myth of automation within the MSP industry for a while now. And I guess my job is to make that myth a reality, because it hasn't proven its potential as of yet. But I feel like we're at a critical point now. And a lot of that has come through software development and the development of these APIs that Cisco Meraki has. So I feel like the worlds in network engineering, software engineering are really converging right now. And that's going to enable us to just the idea that a simple network engineer probably won't be around tomorrow, right? You'll need to have some software skills if you want to excel. And we really try to empower people rather than, disable them or make it feel like we're going to be replacing their job through automation. And so I actually just made this course, which is Cisco Meraki APIs. So it's just a crash course, intro, 10 days. You can obviously do it as fast as you like. But yeah, I basically made out a simple course for teaching people how to code from absolute scratch, but very much within the context of Cisco Meraki APIs. I feel like traditionally when you have a lot of courses about programming, especially, they don't teach it to you from the perspective of the network engineer. It's just general programming.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, how is this relevant to me?
Yep.
And so I really tried to do it, which is very niche. It's very specific to Cisco Meraki, but that's the market we're in, and that's the kind of people we want to help. So that's the kind of thing we try to do. and I go on some other podcasts as well, which you guys might have heard about. Like I went on Carl Palachuk's podcast recently,
Yep.
Small Biz Thoughts,
Yeah.
and all over the place, just different members of our team try to get on these podcasts, because I feel like it's not only a great place to get your name out there, but it's enjoyable to share some ideas with like-minded people and just have discussions that hopefully can have a positive impact on someone, So if we're having a discussion about automation today, if somebody sees this and maybe they have some epiphany about how they need to change their mindset or their organizational habits, and just to create some positive impact within the space,
Yeah, for sure.
There's such a huge opportunity to continue to automate more. As MSPs, we've always had a little bit of a belief of, automation obviously goes back to when remote management and monitoring first came into play. And just even, I remember the big wow factor, when I first got into it, was just the fact that you could restart scripts, right through there and get services up. I'm like, I no longer have to go in and redo that Exchange server in the morning and just start the service, right? Just little things like that. But, I had a DevOps guy that once said it best. I looked at him and it was when I was first understanding really about open source, and he was really just starting to show me what automation could do. And this goes back to probably 2006, 2007 timeframe. And he goes, yeah, my job is to automate myself out of a job. And of course, me being dense and dumb, I'm like, dude, that sounds so counterintuitive. Why would you want to do that? He goes, oh, you'll find something else for me to automate after you're done. Yeah. And sure enough, it really became that. It became like a drug for me, because we were developing our own remote management monitoring platform. And every time you'd show me something else, something that he automated and that was getting me new information, I'm like, can you do this too? Can you do this too? And later he's like, yep, I don't think I'll be out of work for years at the rate you're going. So there's a huge opportunity to take some things and really make it work. Obviously, APIs and integrations have been just great. I mean, my software relies on integrations really to power the data that then is used to report out. So, totally on board there with you. So,
yeah, I mean, you're very fortunate to find those types of people, because the problem with automation is that people exist on the other end of the spectrum as well, right? Yeah. People who don't want to improve. Yeah. It's the reality. People who don't want to elevate their skills, and they're resistant to change, because the reality of it is that automation may take them out of a job if they don't elevate their skills.
Yeah. Yep. That's so true. There's always going to be that segment of people that they fear change enough where, even though it's the right thing to do, they're scared they may take themselves out of a job. Or the reality is, if they just looked at it like, wow, this could really help me, and I can be better, and I can continue to grow. It's different. And that's where people have different mindsets.
Absolutely. And that's where leadership needs to come in and really act and inspire people to grow. But the issue with, I feel, MSPs now is leadership can sometimes be too far away from the technology side of things. As you start to grow and scale too much, you're just not in that scene, in that picture anymore, Yeah. So you're not, I guess, active enough to really make those decisions or even guide someone through a integration or new technology onboarding, etc., because you're focused on the business, which is understandable. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this just takes us back to hiring the right people is crucial for any business.
Yeah.
So I think we're at that stage now, Tim. It's probably time for the speed round.
Yeah. So look, we've got these, you may have heard it, may not have heard it. We've got these 5 questions, super easy.
So that means you already cheated. You already got your answers ready.
We got to switch these damn things up. All right. So first one, talk, text, or Teams?
Teams.
Yeah. Music, movies, or TV?
Music. Easy.
Yeah.
Most popular answer.
It is always. What age do you want to retire?
Never, ever.
Okay. And again, the most popular answer.
Yeah. Mac or Windows?
Mac.
Yeah.
I have style.
Yeah.
And class.
Yeah. So if you could do anything outside of tech, what would it be?
That's a really deep question, actually. I haven't thought about it too much. I guess something in sports would be really fulfilling, right? If I could be a professional football player. So, I mean, soccer.
Yeah. I was going to say, which American football?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, that would be really sublime. Being a professional musician, obviously, would be amazing as well. But yeah, something in the arts would be very fulfilling, I feel.
Yeah.
Well, hey, if you want to check out Ali and learn a little bit more about Boundless Digital, you can. We're going to be including Ali's LinkedIn link in our show notes next week. Also, you can certainly feel free to connect with him there. It sounds like he's on it a lot. We'll also put in the URL for Boundless Digital, and we encourage you, if you're a Meraki user, go give him a look and at least take a look at what's going on there. Tim, you got any closing thoughts?
No, I just thank you for coming on. It was a very interesting segment. It was cool to learn what you guys do and how you're helping out the MSP community.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Honestly, it was great talking to you. And anybody who's interested in what we're doing, just head over to our website or reach out to me on LinkedIn personally. Anywhere is fine. And if you want to learn some skills, then do check out the course I'll be dropping, which is going to come out hopefully before this podcast does. So we'll be good to go.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again, Ali and Tim. I look forward to seeing you next episode.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Maybe we'll have Rod back then. Who knows?
We'll have the band back together.
Get the band back together.